make it alive to join Custer up on the hill. So within minutes, Custer, 1 minute, he's cursing Benteen. You get up here, I can still win. Now, badly outnumbered, completely surrounded, fewer than 100 men alive with him up here, up on this hillside. Now, it's a desperate life or death situation. There are indications from warrior testimony Custer may have tried to remain proactive. Maybe a half dozen or so horsemen are seen leaving the hill. A number of them heading back to where Reno and Benteen are. You know, maybe they're just trying to get away, but you know, you have to consider the possibility Custer's trying to get one last message out for help. Then the warriors say about half the men on the hill, some on horseback, some on foot, they come down off the hill. If it's a deliberate counterattack or just fleeing the hill in the face of a certain death, nobody knows for sure. I tend to believe it was a deliberate counterattack only because the soldiers, the identified soldiers, the 8, 9, 10 soldiers that were identified down along the trail and down in the ravine, they were all from a single company, E, which indicates to me it was probably a deliberate counterattack. But nonetheless, when they get down here from the hill, they are attacked by the Suicide Boys. John Stands in Timber, a Cheyenne historian, said the Suicide Boys, a group of about 20 younger Sioux and Cheyenne warriors, had made a vow to die fighting to protect the village. They lead a suicide charge, and of course are joined by hundreds of other warriors against these soldiers. The soldiers start heading down toward the ravine I told you about down there. At this point, the warriors said, the soldiers are acting like they're drunk. But I think that's a metaphor for men so scared and panicked they don't know what they're doing. They've out of their minds in fright and fear. Ironhawk, I know Papa Lakota, said the same thing. He's down below there. He said the soldiers are coming to him, but they must have been scared. He said, because they're acting like they don't know what they're doing. They're coming down and they're moving their arms like they're running, but they're just walking. They're firing their guns aimlessly into the air. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, the last 28 men left alive in Custer's command probably died fighting in or fleeing through the ravine down there. But nobody comes 2,000 or 3,000 miles because they heard a story once upon a time of 28 men dying in a ravine somewhere, right? You're all here because once upon a time you heard a story about 42 brave United States soldiers on a lonely, windswept hillside out in the middle of nowhere, completely surrounded, badly outnumbered, facing certain death. They shoot and kill their horses, make that last stand of legend and history. Why are they shooting their horses? I told you, cavalry horse is the cavalry's lifeblood, right? So if you're killing your lifeblood, you know what? Desperate life or death measures, trying to stay alive one more moment. You got to make breastworks, anything to stop a bullet up there. Custer knows, despite what you see in the movies, warriors don't make suicide charges against fortified positions. And they didn't here either. Go back to the guerrilla tactics. Pop up, fire shots, duck back down. By the time the soldiers have seen the puff of smoke, draw a bead, pull the trigger, warriors are already safely on the ground or moved to another bush, bullets whizzing harmlessly overhead, soldier ammunition dwindling. The soldiers, according to the warriors, then the soldiers threw away their big guns, began fighting with their little guns. A rifle has much longer range than a handgun, so what? Warriors can move closer. They get closer, then they start firing hundreds of arrows into the air. Silent death falling from the heavens. Till suddenly, in the words of Wooden Leg, an 18-year-old Cheyenne warrior, he said, the shots stopped coming. Only then, hundreds of warriors, all four sides, they sweep up over the hill. There's so many of them, they can't get up on the hill. They're fighting over each other to try to get up there to fight. they begin swarming like bees around a hive, around 42, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10,